Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to the Status Network, the live TV channel, and this is the Conversation Corner with your host, the author Andrew Snorton, and let's have a conversation. As with any show, we have great guests in covering entertainment, business, community, and beyond. And tonight we're airing at a special time at 9 p.m. So before we get into our exclusive guest who is bringing the Fiyah, especially during the holiday season, we're going to take care of our station announcements as well as our public service announcements. Before we do that, I have to give a shout to the folks at the Cure for Education. I was one of the featured speakers earlier this evening at 7 o'clock. So as great as I am, I can't be two places at once. So thank you to the Cure for Education, and thank you to everybody at the Status Network, including our show that was on previously, for really being accommodating. Now let's go ahead and get to our network announcements and public service announcements. With the Status Network, we appreciate your support, not only of my show, but the entire Status Network family of shows, channels, and even radio stations. To best enjoy tonight's show, make sure to visit statusnetwork.net, click on channels, click on LyveTV, and click on the Conversation Corner. And when you do that, to save yourself a couple of steps, just go ahead and subscribe to the show. That way, when we're on live, it'll already be on, well, it'll be up and running, basically. For those of you who have room on your smartphones, make sure to download Status Network's smartphone app, click on channels, click on Live TV, and you're good to go. On social media, please go ahead and add and connect with Live TV as well as Status Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and I'm sure there's others. And for those of you that have Roku and Amazon Fire Stick, make sure to go ahead and tune into the network. And finally, you've got to follow your favorite author, which if it's not me, it needs to be. So make sure that you add Author Andrew Snorton on Facebook in order to enjoy the show. You may also add Author A. Snorton on Twitter and Instagram. And for those of you that follow me on Instagram, there's a little pleasant surprise right there. So now let's go ahead and pivot to our announcements for the evening. Our first announcement, shouts to the members of the Atlanta Black MBA Association this coming Friday, December 13th from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. featuring DJ Tron as well as the live performance by Grits and Jelly Butter. It is their holiday soiree. Make sure to bring a toy to help support their toy drive. Make sure you come correct. This isn't a jeans affair. This is where you definitely need to have the beyond after 7 attire, but great work going on with our friends at the Atlanta Black MBA Association. Our next public service announcement. Oh, the very next day, we know it's cold because it's December, but it's really cold. Well, cold in a good way. Shouts to the members of the Loganville Conyers chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Sigma Eta Lambda chapter, this coming Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. at Pseudo Bar and Grill, way out in Conyers, Georgia. Make sure to join them for their holiday day party, $20 per person, $35 for a pair. Come out in your holiday festive gear and attire, ugly sweater as well. The beautiful thing is a portion of the sales will support their ABC2 campaign, where they will make visits to the area children's hospitals a few days before the Christmas holiday. But you need to hurry because ticket sales end on Friday. So you might want to get that ticket now. Go ahead and do something. Our next public service announcement is regarding our business, Creative Community Solutions. They are all over the place, ranging from education, press and media, and more. As you know, they've expanded their coverage on the media end for minor league baseball, college football. So shouts to Wake Forest University, as they will be in the Pinstripe Bowl up in New York City, up at Yankee Stadium, as well as hockey coverage. But wait, they still go ahead and take care of education and things along those lines. Now, one of the things that they were able to do, as you know, one of the major holidays that just took place was Thanksgiving. There's actually coverage of the Thanksgiving Day parade that takes place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's the oldest of its type, and the Status Network was out there providing coverage. So the video that you're about to see, I'll tell you what, for first-time coverage and being able to ride on the parade route, what, you don't believe we were riding out and getting it? Let's go to the video and let's see what was going on. up, y'all? Having fun. Having fun today. Remember, bring a can good because the folks from like the Boy Scouts and other groups are out here doing canned food drives, so make sure to bring those with you. So, just getting a good crowd shot. Hey, y'all. Just getting a good crowd shot, having fun. We'll see you soon. Okay. Wow, like we said, we were really riding around and getting it in a constructive manner. So again, in order to catch that coverage of the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade, make sure to visit our friends at Creative Community Solutions. And now at this point in time that we've taken care of our announcements, we are going to go ahead and pivot to our guest. We're going to hope that technology agrees with us. You know how that goes. She is no stranger to the show. I tell you what, anytime you have a positive presence in your presence, it is a wonderful thing.
Well, I'm excited to be here as always.
Ty, again, back on the show.
I'm excited to just be home.
Home? Okay, so this is we'll say at one of the places, one of the spaces and places.
One of the places.
So we have Tyressa Ty, again, the many hats she wears, brand and road manager for hip hop icon Dougie Fresh, author of 2 great books, Follow the Fire, Follow Your Fire, corporate trainer, celebrity host, community advocate. You're doing it all, and thank you for taking and making the time to be back at our space.
Well, gosh, am I doing all that for real?
Is water wet? Is water wet? Wait, are you a Saints fan?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so having said all that, we've got all the answers that we need.
Yes.
So Ty, for those of our viewers who haven't gotten familiar with you, let's start by giving a point of reference, where you're from, and talk a little bit during this first segment about your journey in getting to this space and place.
Oh my God. Of course, when you said the Saints fan, everybody knew what the real deal was. I am definitely from Louisiana, from the boot, and I am a diehard Saints fan. When I think about, gosh, you say from the beginning, it's so many different, I say, portions or. As it relates to my journey, challenges from being a kid, and I have these. When people say it's levels to this,
yes,
like it's really levels to this.
Just like here, you know what we're gonna do?
Oh,
I got an idea.
You have an idea.
We're gonna. I got you. I got you. We're a team.
Okay.
I got you.
So, but it's definitely levels to this, and it was definitely not always easy being a child with suffering from dyslexia and ADHD. I was known as being a little bit over the top, talkative, busybody, you know. And some people, you know, it's so easy for people to be so cruel to kids. And that's why I am totally against bullying, because I remember being told that I was dumb or not smart as the next person or whatever, but it was that I had a disability that no one knew about, not even me, and it was very challenging for me. But I tell you what, when you have a disability that you don't know about and you're still able to make it through year after year, class after class, you're really smarter than everybody else.
And I tell you what, and not only
that takes a skill.
It takes a skill, and it's a skill called a work ethic, because part of that in looking at your progress was making sure that you are a proud alum, a proud HBCU alum.
Yes.
Southern University,
yes. And I was just at the Bayou Classic, and I was super excited. We beat down Grambling, and it's so amazing because I think about that. I think about, you know, and I was just doing an interview yesterday, and I was telling them about just the process of, you know, remembering those days, you know, remembering the childhood, remember going from people, you know, having their own opinion about who I was and what I could accomplish. I always say I was most likely not to succeed, and being able to go from, you know, from high school to to graduating from Southern University. That's where I received my first degree in 3.5 years, I may add.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
I received my degree, minor, 2 MBAs, and I'm certified. So God is good, and it's just a testimony to say that, you know, people can't determine where you will go, and it doesn't matter what your challenges are or where you came from. That is not the end. That's not the end of your destination.
Exactly, and you hit the nail on the head. It's the proverbial where you are isn't where you're always going to be.
No. So I mean, I just when I look back over my life, it's kind of amazing because, you know, would I have thought I would be where I'm at right now? No, but I knew that I would be somebody. I just didn't know what course that I would take. You know, having a child, being a single mom at a young age, you know, a lot of times you give up and you think, well, that portion of my life or what my dreams or things that my purpose, things that I'm destined to do or I desire to do is, you know, over because I've chose a different direction. And I just like to encourage people that, you know, even when you don't make the right choices, the best choices in life, that God still gives you grace and he gives you favor with people, and he gives you another chance to make the right turn, to go right instead of left. So, you know, I'm one of those people, and so I'm always excited about, you know, talking about my journey, talking about from childhood to even, it's just amazing that I even have a degree. Sometimes I'm amazed at myself that I have a degree. And when I talk, sometimes people be like, you really have a degree?
Well, actually you have more
because
than one.
My culture comes up.
But I mean, but that's, hey, you know what? But here's the thing. You said a lot right there. Your grounding, your faith is
absolutely.
Ultimately important.
Absolutely.
Your work ethic, persistence, perseverance, a little bit of patience too. And sometimes it's easier said than done.
And
but
you've seen me without patience.
Really?
You've seen me without patience. But it's, you know, it's just so, it's amazing when you when we met, and I was in a different level. Like I said, it was levels. And I was actually hosting for the Celebrity Moms reality show.
Right.
And when I met you, you were out doing doing interviews. And now I'm looking at you now, you have your own television show. So, you know, that's just, it's levels. It's levels, and it's about connecting with the right people. So, you know, for me, I don't judge people. I can roll with the best of them and the worst of them. And still make them feel whole and still feel whole as well. So I don't have to be, although I'm around celebrities probably 80% of my life right now, I really don't have to be around them to feel a certain way. I treat them just like I treat anyone else. I treat them like I would treat the janitor when we're traveling and we're at hotels. I give them the same respect as I would give Doug or Teddy or Keith or anybody else that we move around with, you know. So for me, it's just like I'm this Southern girl from Louisiana. I'm this girl that graduated from Southern University, HBCU. And most of all, I still have that little girl in me that remembers how it feels to be counted out. And that's a good thing because it keeps me humble, and it allows me to always treat people with the utmost respect.
And I'm glad you said that, because oftentimes some people, when they ascend in their presence and their range and things along those lines, they kind of forget, or they want to be like, well, that's the past is the past. And don't get me wrong, the past is the past.
Right.
But like you said before, it's about maintaining your humility. Because
Absolutely.
you never know. It's the proverbial, and we've said this before, you don't judge a book by its cover. You got to read the book in order to know what's going on.
Absolutely.
And there's plenty of people who you never think would be that bridge or that plug or that resource. So you can't get thrown off by how people talk, how people walk, or things along those lines. You just have to sit down and talk with and listen to.
Absolutely. And you know you had to do that with me, because I
Did
have I'm training my dialect.
I'm going to say no, but I think here's the thing, and we have had plenty of conversations like this, as well as you know, in other areas. The first thing that comes out, I mean, in no particular order, it's definitely you're passionate and you are purposeful.
Thank you.
And regardless of where you are and what you're doing, that is something that is a constant. and what happened.
And you know what? That's so funny because I, of course, had conference calls and different things going on today in between interviews. And I was talking to Chill Will, our DJ, and I'm bridging in two things because a lot of times I say things, and he's from New York, and they have their own dialect as well. He said, "What did you just say?" You know, he said, but what he said this today. He said, "One thing I can say about you," he said, "sometimes I don't know if you're a little upset or you what." He said, "But what I know is that you're always passionate." He said, when you're in something, you're in it. When you care about it, you care about it. And, you know, they came from a different generation, of course. And so, you know, a lot of times I'm trying to explain certain things or whatever. And I said, you'll know when I'm upset. Trust and believe. I said, what you see is passion. And it is. I'm a very passionate person about not just what I do, but people. I always say, you know, people have to let me go most of the time. But when I'm gone, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm a Virgo. I'm loyal. You see, I am loyal, okay? I am down to the very end. But when it's the end, it is over. I'm a very passionate person. I will say that about myself. I'm not what people would assume I am on social media. I'll say that.
I will say this without over confirming or over denying. when I say this, like passionate and purposeful, and especially when I think of the work that you're doing within entertainment, the work that you've done as an author, and will still do, even though you're still going to do it. The work that you are doing as an author, and those are those universal themes: passion, purpose. It's about people. It's about being a resource. It's about being a good steward. And whether it's that, let me tell you a little something, to, oh, we need to have a talk, and everything in between, that is just basically who you are.
I am every woman. You can get it. If you come for it, you can get it. But I say, God is still working on me. And, but my heart sincerely is, I think my heart is probably the best part of me. And even when, I think more so like when I think about my personality, I've always been, a very fun person, but a person people knew like, not to mess with because she could go there, right? But when I had a child, it took me to a different place, levels. When I went through the storms, when I went through I went through the Hurricane Katrina, when I went through the other storm, it really took me to a whole nother, I feel like that I am somewhat a different person since then. And you always talking about writing another book, and I'm just saying I'm not writing another book. But I do feel that there is, I feel like, when you go through something of that caliber twice in a lifetime at such a young age, it does something to you. Like when I went through Hurricane Katrina, it affected me in a different way than this last flood. And of course I'm older. It was 14 years ago, and it was very devastating. But then you think about it was, I went through, I was ill, so I was coming out of the hospital, 2 days out of the hospital, and lost everything I owned. And then I got laid off my job as a corporate trainer from AT&T. So it was like back to back to back to back to back. And you really realize who's there for you. You realize who care about you. I'm naturally a giver. That's the type of person I am. With my family, I've always been the person everybody could go to, live with, use their car, do all those things. But when that happened, it was like, I remember being like, going back to my childhood in a sense, where I was a little kid, where people just really didn't understand, and nobody was there for me, feeling like that. But because I'm so mature now, mentally and spiritually, I knew that place I was in, but I didn't stay in that place. And then because I shared it with you when you called to check on me. It was important to me that it wasn't about people, sending me money or anything like that. It was just about having, and I think everybody wants someone when you're a person that gives so much, you want to feel as though you have somebody that you can depend on as well when some tragedy or something happens. So it changed me, but I feel like I still kept my fire. You know what I'm saying? I still kept my spice and that girl, that Tyressa Ty busybody person. But I'm glad that I learned to say no. I learned to say hell no. I don't know if that's acceptable on the show.
We're grown.
It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
I use all the cuss words in the Bible just to make sure I feel that's a good level.
Right.
I'm not overdoing it. So, and I learned how to say no, and I think that's healthy. And we talked a little bit about this, and I'm enjoying this opportunity to spend this entire time with you, because we can kind of hit on a lot of things we talk about as well, with like mental health, just learning how to balance yourself and other people in your life, and knowing when that's enough.
Right. And like you said, there's a lot that you have been led through in order to get here.
Yes.
And one of the threads that you definitely talked about, which is what we're going to really hit home on for this next, after we take our commercial break, the thing that you are is purposeful, and you're passionate about people. And what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we're going to take our first break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about one of the big examples of how purposeful and passionate this one right here is when it comes to people. So stick around. We're going to take a quick break from the Conversation Corner with author Andrew Snorton. And again, we're on the Status Network, the LyveTV channel. Back. Yeah, you know it's funny. Yes, we do have structure, and we have flexibility within the structure. And you know what? When we were talking off air, like I said, when it's someone that you have been fortunate to be acquainted with and work with, it's just like, it's like being two kids like in the playground.
It's really a conversation corner.
Yeah, it really is. Or it's
we're
like
time out.
Or it's basically. Or it's like, how like for folks who have ties to smaller towns, like my parents are from small town Kentucky, and you know how like your folks would get mad at you for like throwing rocks and skimming. So that's all we were doing. So shouts to the producer Jack for catching that magic moment. So having said all that, for this segment, hey, it happens. But this segment, and this is something real important, to build upon the theme of being passionate and purposeful about people. This holiday season, actually, it goes live tomorrow, and it's the 6th year of doing your Divas and Dolls project. Please share with our viewers. If you haven't heard, you need to pay attention. So walk us through the evolution of Divas and Dolls and the big things that you're taking on for this coming holiday season.
I am super excited about Divas and Dolls. I would have never imagined that it would be so big right now. And I thank God for the vision that he gave me years ago. Of course, I wasn't obedient, but initially. But when I was able to, through a dream, see the purpose of it. Like I could I knew I couldn't totally grasp it, but I knew it was important. And I always share the memory I had of when I worked at Cox Communication in New Orleans, and we were doing a give back under the bridge, and it was a little girl who wanted a doll, and she was little. And for me, I just couldn't imagine a kid living under a bridge. You're not gonna imagine adults living under a bridge.
Right.
And she asked me for a doll. She tapped me and she said, "Ma'am, can I have a doll?" And I was like, "We don't have any dolls." And it just did something to me. And, we were told not to bring, personal items or whatever. And this guy that was working with me, I said, "Do you have any cash on you?" He was like, "I have $10. And I asked him to give it to me to give to the mother.
Right.
And I asked her to promise me she would get the little girl a doll. Now, of course, they say, they always throw a lot of... But you know what? But she just, when I said that and I gave the mother the money, she started crying. And it kept coming back to me like, every little girl deserves a doll for Christmas. And when I did it the first year, I really understood the purpose of it. And I understand why God charged me to make sure this happened. And I wanted to share it with other women as well. I felt like the women that ladies, we are required. It's something that we are required to do, to show little girls how to become women. And a lot of times when they're in foster homes and going from place to place, or in shelters, they don't have that role model. They have parents that are on drugs. They don't have a role model to show them what a woman looks like, what success looks like. And a lot of us, we've all come from all walks of life. Me talking about my childhood, sharing a little bit, being transparent, me talking about going through storms. It allows me to be sensitive when I'm in those places, in those low places with other people, and understand how it feels to have a need or desire and not having somebody come step in and give it and share that with you. And so I'm super excited to just, be amongst these amazing women, not just me. God gave me the vision, but I couldn't do it without people like PR helping me out, and the ladies that all across the globe that said, "Hey, I want to be a part of this." And it started with 8 women, and I think we had 4 states, and now we're at 17 states and 22 women.
And I want to pause you right there, because this is the 6th year. Could you walk through again those stats from where you started in year 1 to where you are right now? What were the number of women?
8 women. And 4 states.
Okay.
4 states.
And with this year being the 6th year, how many women and how many states are represented?
We have 25, and I had to cut it off.
Wait. Cut it off. So in other words, you went from 8 to 25, so that's a 3-fold increase.
Yes.
And what about the number of states? Your first year you were in 4 states. How many states are
we had 17 states and 22 cities.
Wow. So let's get this correct. And like you said, it was from listening to the call, to just going ahead and executing your purpose, being passionate, and being about people. So you've increased your city count by threefold, and from 4 to 17 regarding your states, that's 4-fold.
Yes.
And not only are you doing these awesome give backs, you've also explained to our viewers it's not just within those states. You've also, correct me if I'm wrong, and stress to our viewers, have even shipped stuff overseas.
We've mailed over 200 dolls last year. We mailed over 200 dolls. We have people, first, I just have to give a shout out to the ladies, to the women. I have to give a shout out to 2 of the young ladies. Jess Broad, she was with me from the beginning, and she's been with me every year. And she's out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Free, she's our youngest diva. She started out of Houston, Texas. She was a little girl when she was on the flyer, and now she's a senior. So she was our baby diva, and she's been with us from the very beginning. And they have been just so diligent. It's just amazing, because this is really full circle for everyone, because you have small businesses, entrepreneurs, women that are doing it alone, that they want to buy 100 bikes or $100, but they can't financially afford it.
Right.
So it allows us to come together as a unit, and we are a force to be reckoned with.
Wow. So
to collect dolls globally, all over the world, and we receive and then we deliver to less fortunate families.
And it sounds like it's the perfect acronym for team together. Everyone achieves more.
Yes.
And I know
yes.
people have heard that before, and you're going to hear it again. When you grow like you have, and you've been genuine, you've been strategic, and you have people who have been with you from the giddy up to people who I think even was recently for one of your divas in Birmingham just got them on board. So you've got a little bit of everybody. So walk through with us with the give back. A little bit about the dates and kind of how a little bit, just enough about how it works.
Just enough.
And things along those lines.
So this is the process. With the 25 women, tomorrow we will be officially launching it with the flyer. You get to see all these amazing divas, women of empowerment and integrity, and I'm excited about it. You'll see all the 25 women. You'll see the locations. Each individual diva will post the flyer of all the women, but they'll post their own individual location of drop-offs and pickups.
Okay, so again, to reinforce that for our viewers, the flyer comes out tomorrow with all of the participating divas, and each individual diva, when they repost, they're going to share their drop-off locations where people can go ahead and do their donations. That is awesome. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just in one city. This is in 25 cities, so you've got to make sure.
It's really, I say we have 25 women. We have 25 women representing 22 cities, but we are global. We're international because I mail dolls to Jamaica. So you can contact us, you can email me, contact one of the ladies, and it is confidential. We have some people that don't mind. They want to take a picture with us. We like that. We love it. We want to show the love. But we don't never want anyone to feel that they're a charity case because they don't have the funds to do certain things. So we have people, sometimes they'll inbox me and they'll say, hey, I know the neighbor needs this, or they'll just volunteer other people. I love it. I feel like a little Santa Claus. I feel like a little bitty Santa Claus, like a little female Santa Claus. I'm telling you, like when we do that, when we do the little secret Santas that neighbors or church members will sometimes say, I know this family needs help, and I go and drop it off and knock on the door, and then I sneak off. I'm like, I feel a little bit like a Santa Claus.
That's awesome.
It's the best feeling in the world to see the smile on their face, and we feel like, and every little girl in the world deserves a doll for Christmas, because you got to think about, from a man's standpoint, we do divas and dolls, but we know we have dollars as well, because sometimes we're in a situation where there's little boys and they're there and we don't want to leave them with nothing.
Right. You still want to make sure that they're as engaged as possible.
They're feeling whole and loved as well. And my grandfather used to always say this, and I know you're going to feel this, that a man's supposed to have $1 in his pocket. Got to have a little money in his pocket. So when we get donations from you wonderful people, we go and we get $5 bills. So we'll give the little boys $5 if there's a little boy, and we give the little girls dollars. Dolls. And from a woman's standpoint, I feel that again, it's a baby doll. It teaches a natural process of being a nurturer, and even when these little girls are not being taken care of, it makes them feel a certain way to take care of something.
You make a very good point.
And when they're going from place to place, and they can't take a loved one, they can take that doll with them to this home, to the next home. And it's just amazing, the stories we've heard. And we don't just drop off dolls. We minister, we hug, we love. We always ask the little girls what they want to be when they grow up. We share our testimony. We have one of our divas. She's now a doctor. She was a foster. She come from a foster environment, from a foster home. And she's now a doctor. She has her own dolls called Nola Nurse. And she adopted 2 kids. And so when she, you just, like, again, these are women who have testimonies of being, two of my divas were parents at 14, and so we're showing them that no matter where you're at in your current situation, that you can be us or greater. We are an example. We're not just delivering a doll, we're delivering hope. We're giving hope.
It's about, and I know one of the terms we like to use here, it's seed planting. You never know what seeds you're planting, and another thing that you've tapped into before, and we've talked about this project, that self-image and that identity. When you look at something that looks like you,
Yes.
and you see somebody who looks like you, now all of a sudden you're making something that seems like it's so abstract, a lot more concrete, a lot more reachable, and it's great that, again, year number 6.
And we still have a surprise for our
You've got
followers.
a surprise.
We still have a surprise. You know, last year we had Tamika, Tiny Harris, Tip's wife, and she joined with us, and she was our celebrity diva every year. After the third year, we started doing a celebrity diva. Celebrity diva.
And I apologize, who have been some of the other celebrity divas that have lent their support for this project? Because again, it's letting people know it started off small, but is exponentially growing. And when you see that type of growth, there's a number of people from all over that want to be a part. So who are some of the other celebrities? Like you said, you mentioned Tamika.
Well, I was the first one.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Okay,
that was a joke.
Oh, goodness. Well, you know, it started here.
I was the first celebrity.
Okay, well, but no, you're right. No, look, it's not bragging if it's true. It's facts. So after you, who have been some of the other celebrities?
Mama Wyatt, Kiki Wyatt's mother. We had the young lady Selena Johnson with her from Bring It. She has the twins that's on Bring It, and she's a part of that reality show as well, from Jackson, Mississippi. And of course we had Tamika Harris, and she really showed us a lot of love last year. We had an event with her, and it was a big deal. It was a really big deal, and I'm just so excited. I am, like I said, we're pending. We still have a big surprise. This is not it. I'm gonna have to come back again. I'm gonna have to bring them with me, huh?
You know what? So you are more than welcome to bring. I am not. Look at here, y'all have seen. If you follow the show, I am very comfortable and confident in my own skin. And every time I'm here, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah. But I'm so excited because, again, we do have a celebrity diva that we're going to be introducing later on in the process. Tomorrow, it's 12 days. We start on the 12th through the 24th. So we're delivering dolls to Christmas Eve. And literally, I remember 2 years ago, I literally dropped off dolls. Like, it was like Christmas morning. It was like after 12 o'clock in Louisiana and Washington Parish, and just going in these little rural areas and these little rural towns. It really does my heart good. It does my heart good to be able to, and we don't do just any dolls now. We don't give the babies just the little Dollar Tree doll. Now, if you're welcome to donate whatever you want.
Right.
I was always told by my grandmother, don't give somebody something you wouldn't want. We give these little girls the dolls that they would dream of. We give them the $20 dolls. Like, we go all out for them, and we make sure that they're happy. We let them pick them out, and this is the joy on their face because we just have them laid out, and they just be like, I want that one, and I was like, that's yours, and they're happy and they're excited. And we've had a lot of parents say that's all they're gonna get, and she's happy. Thank you. Like, that may be all that they get for Christmas. And so, even not just my project, but anybody that's out there that you see that is giving back to the community, if it's any way that you can contribute, know that it may seem so small and minute to us, but to them, it's everything. You remember being a kid, and you remember the person that made an impact in your life that helped you cross over to the person that you are. It did something positive or negative that shifted or changed your life. It had an impact, some type of impact in your life, being as a kid. Do you remember anyone in particular? Oh
yeah, there's plenty. There's not enough time. But you hit the nail on the head. You think about, like you said, there's a lot of things, and even in recent conversations and travels and all that, where you didn't think anything of it because that's, quote, what you're supposed to do or make an effort to do.
Absolutely.
But from conversations to whatever, like my grandmom used to say, you take time to see about folks, and you're doing it because that's what you're supposed to do, not realizing in doing what you're supposed to do, the impact can be immeasurable.
Yeah.
And I think, that's a definitely powerful thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and pause for our next commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to recap some things with Divas and Dolls. Also, for those folks in the Atlanta area, we've got something real hot that you need to be a part of for next week. But we're going to talk about that and a few other things. So again, we're going to take our commercial break right now. This is the Conversation Corner with your host, the author Andrew Snorton, on the Status Network on LyveTV.
Wait a minute.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our final segment on the Conversation Corner with your host, author Andrew Snorton, again on the Status Network LyveTV channel. Tyressa Ty, I tell you what, you are doing some great things across entertainment. Author, corporate trainer, celebrity host, community advocate. We've talked extensively, especially about Divas and Dolls. Again, growing big time. But before we recap on Divas and Dolls for our Atlanta folks, and for those of you that can get to Atlanta, walk us through why should people mark their calendars for next Tuesday?
December the 17th, it's going to be fire.
Really? And please let them know. It already
This
sounds hot.
thing is going to, now you
Sounds
know,
hot.
You know, you were privy to come to the mixer 2 years ago. We did this 2 years ago. Last year we didn't do it because we partnered with Tamika Harris, Tiny, and we did an event with her. But this year we're bringing it back, and it's going to be hot. We're going to do a relationship panel.
Wait, a relationship
mixer.
panel? Ooh.
It's
now that in and of
hot.
it, look
it's
at
gonna
here.
be fire. It's gonna be
Now, a relationship panel,
Yes,
that
yes,
in and of
yes.
itself is going to provide for some interesting conversation.
Yes.
So, December 17th,
It's
give
going
us the
down.
times, the locations. The times, the location, and likewise, how people, regardless of their status, we're just
Right.
letting you know, regardless of your status, not only just to come out, but how they can also lend support for Divas and Dolls.
Well, we're going to have a great time, but it is a party with a purpose. So we're asking everyone to donate $1 or dollars, just whatever your heart, tells you to do and you feel comfortable with. And we'll have a bucket out there and a box for the dollars and the dolls. And we will also have that slip of paper that you have to ask that relationship question before you get through the door.
Wow.
And you know how exciting that was last year. So this is definitely a party with a purpose, and it's a relationship mixer. And of course, it started off with single and mingle, and then we had some people that were married and said, well, you know, if y'all really want to get this right or wrong, you may want to invite us.
And you know what? You make a good point. You know, from whence cometh your help?
So we, as you can see, shout out to my flyer girl, Dakita out of Washington, D.C. for adding the engaged and married at the end, because it started off as a single mingle type thing.
But you also just had to put that out there, just as a disclaimer. You had to put that out there.
We're not promoting married men to come out and look for single women. I have to put that disclaimer in as well. But it's definitely going to be a good time. You know, year before last when we did this, remember we were blessed to have Chris Tucker to come and join us. Right. So you never know. I'm not saying who's coming. I'm just saying you never know when you're rolling with Fiyah host Tyressa Ty, and who may pop up.
And the great thing is with the venue, shouts to Cat's Cafe.
Cat,
the owner.
They are a family.
They are some awesome people who have been so helpful for not only this, but book signings that we've done. Both of us. Those lines.
Yeah, we both were able to do our book signing. This place reminds me of the Tyler Perry movie lounges. It is black owned, which, you know, I love that. But the ambiance is so amazing. The food is great, and you know I'm from Louisiana. I'm very picky about the food. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to put that the food is amazing. The drinks are good, and we're gonna have a drink special as well. And it's gonna start. Please, I need you guys to be on Asian time, whoever time, do not be on. Don't be on our time, okay? It's very time sensitive, and we want to definitely enjoy the moment that we have to spend and fellowship together. The doors will open at 5, so we'll have happy hour from 5 to 6. The panel will start from 6:30 to 8, and after that, we're just going to continue supporting Cat's Cafe, because they have a comedy session right after that, and it's just going to be a good time. Isn't it a song about Tuesday, turn up on a Tuesday or something?
I'm not going to sing it, but you can YouTube that song. It was out a few years ago. Actually, there's something out there. I actually sang it one time. I was making some seafood, and I was just being silly. Now watch people look, okay, let's see. But having said all that, remind people again the date, the time, the location, how people can come out and support, and then remind people about the larger support for Divas and Dolls and all that good stuff, and how people can stay connected.
Absolutely. So again, a party with a purpose, and it's all tied into Divas and Dolls 2019. And again, I want to give a shout out to my dynamic 25 Divas, 17 states, 22 cities across the globe that's helping out, and also the people like you that's sponsoring and donating the donations for these dolls. You are part of it. Your face may not be on the flyer, but you are Fiyah, and we need you, and we appreciate you. And for those who are in the Atlanta, Georgia market, and feel free to drive if you're close by, because this thing is going to be pretty nice, okay? It's going to be pretty hot. At Cat's Cafe, one of our favorite spots in Atlanta, Georgia, on Piedmont.
It's 970 Piedmont Road.
970 Piedmont Road in Atlanta, Georgia, on Tuesday coming up, from 5 to 6 happy hour, 6:30 to 8, we're going to have a relationships panel, and there is no charge. All we ask is that you bring dolls and dollars to support the Divas and Dolls Christmas holiday initiative, so that we can give back to our little girls, because we believe that every little girl in the world deserves a doll for Christmas.
And that there it is. So you need to make sure that Tuesday is marked on your calendar. Yes. Could you please remind our viewers the best ways to, even if they can't, be at the event in Atlanta or any events, where they can still lend support for the initiative?
Absolutely. You can contact me at Ty Divas and Dolls, and we will also list this on the website, on your site as well.
Exactly.
Ty Divas and Dolls at gmail.com. You can follow me at Fiyah, Fiyah, Tyressa Ty on Instagram and Facebook. And we're not just asking for you to donate. Please contact me if you want to be a part of this and donate the dolls or dollars, and they will go to a good cause. But we want you to contact us if you know any family, anyone that's in a low place in life, or a financial bind, that we can help them and we can deliver on the other end as well. So we're not just asking for donations, we're asking you to let us know who we can reach out to and deliver and make sure that these little babies have an amazing holiday, and know that no matter the situation that they're in, that they're loved. And we're responsible as entrepreneurs and leaders in the community. If we want to say we want to be leaders, and we say we post different things, but we have to live it. We gotta walk the walk and not just and talk the talk of what we say we want to do. It's not about being seen. It's not about being a celebrity. It's not about getting our shine on. It's about making an impact. And I say all the time that it's a difference between being a legend and leaving a legacy. Okay.
Wait, say that one more time.
There is a difference between being a legend and leaving a legacy. I want people to not remember me by what I accomplished, but what I help other people accomplish.
And there you have it. And if that doesn't scream stewardship and outreach and service, you might want to replay this portion. Seriously. So, Ty, it is always a pleasure and privilege to just be able to chop it up. I mean, this is why I love this conversation style, because it's like these are how our conversations basically go.
In real life.
Seriously, in real life. This
Right.
is nothing scripted. So, but this is how we've been able to interact and engage and connect and support, and it's always a pleasure, always a privilege. So, as we get ready to wind this down, remember, just with any of our shows, don't let this be the only time that you connect, engage, and interact with people. So whether it's tonight, previous shows, last year, next year, again, all these people are really doing some quality things in their chosen fields and going across different entities. So please make sure to lend support. We definitely want to thank all of you for taking time to watch and tune in tonight at a special time. We've done this special 9 o'clock time a time or two.
I've been ticking and talking pretty early all day. I started pretty early this morning.
You did. You started real early this morning.
Early.
But seriously, we appreciate everybody, because normally we air at 7 p.m. But again, thanks first off to the folks at the Cure for Education for having me be a part of their awesome and powerful series. Thanks again for everybody here at the station for being willing to adjust for us to be on at 9 o'clock. So as a reminder, our next show is actually going to be 2 weeks from now, which is Christmas Day. Oh my goodness.
God.
So we're going to have something special on Christmas Day, the 25th. And again, thank you. Okay, I stand corrected. No, we're not. Well, we'll talk about that later. Okay, we're going to talk about that later. But all jokes aside, all kidding aside, speaking of the holidays, for those of you in need of a stocking stuffer, hey, this is the shameless plug, but hey, it's my show.
Okay.
For $25, you can get both copies of my book, autographed and personalized, and because I remember to take pictures when I go to the barbers, a nice personalized autographed picture for your coffee table, office space, things along those lines.
Ladies.
So we're going to go ahead on that note. We're going to close out with the reminder of the holidays. Take good care, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.